This broadcast of the ASEAN Basketball League may not be reused in any way, shape, or form without an express written consent of the ABL.
Open is Regulus. Back-to-back triples for Mono Vampire.
Only 7 remaining. He makes his move. Young forces it up and in! CC hasn't made a shot before that.
Pretty good so far here in the first half.
Lai. Oh, everyone for the Black Bears finding the bottom of the net. Leaky with a big steal. Leaky for 3. That goes in. What a play!
The Mono Vampire Basketball Club is off to a blazing start in the 10th season of the ASEAN Basketball League. Tonight, Thailand will be gunning for its 3rd straight win against the visiting Kuala Lumpur Dragons. Good evening, everyone. Coming to you live from Stadium 29 in Nantamburi, Thailand. Yo, Sarmenta on the call. Alongside me is TK Kosambun. TK, Mono is off to a 2-0 start. What has been their recipe to success?
Well, as you mentioned before the broadcast, this is actually Mono Vampire's best start ever in franchise history. They have done a really good job preparing themselves heading into the season, getting their players playing along to the system of their new head coach, Andre Alab. Everyone has bought in, and it's paid off with 2 wins to start it off.
As you saw on the team standings, this is Kuala Lumpur's 2nd game of the season and Mono's 3rd. We're just about moments away from the opening tip, and we'll move on to our venue announcer for our player introductions.
Tan Guilong, number 11, Hung Ingwai, number 12, John Wong, number 21, Simon Lepitel, number 23, Dia Song Shin, number 31, Bill Adino, and number 34, Ken David. Head coach, Mr. Jamie Berman. Assistant coach, Mr. Adrian Vaughn and Mr. Ilan Adiga. And are you ready? Please clap your hand for Mono Rapid Basketball Club!
Step back, no foul. Alab ties it up with that big shot.
First player number 58, Anat Puong Lam. Number 65, Tirawat Tajan. Number 40, Naratip Bunsam. Number 79, Titapon Toweran. Player number 50, Preston Nose. Number 32, Nopon Sangtong. Player number 0, Frederick Gresh. Number 11, Moses Morgan. Number 77, Shishai Ananti. Player number 1, Tyler Lamb. Player number 2, Ryan Vasquez. And number 7, Michael Secretary. Hey, coach, Mr. Andre Alab. Assistant coach, Mr. Tongkia Singha Saini. Mr. Rashideh Kuratiwa. And Mr. Supakiti Tongtip. And team manager, Mr. Kasusha Wirakitakan.
Welcome back to Stadium 29, everybody. As we take a quick look at our player feature for Will Artino, the new guy for the Dragons.
Yeah, what a game he had in that first matchup. 25 points, 20 rebounds. Just the opening game 2020. What a good start for the new guy for the Kuala Lumpur Dragons, and it got them a win too. They're going to really be liking this guy there in Malaysia.
You know, last season he played for the Formosa Dreamers. Played all of their games, actually. As we go to the previous game by Mono Vampire in a win over the Dreamers.
And that was a really good win for the Mono Vampire, despite them going out ahead by as much as 21 points, if I recall correctly. The Dreamers closed back into the game. As you see, there's just a 5-point gap at the final buzzer, but it showed great composure by the Mono Vampire. Here in the game, the first game for the Kuala Lumpur Dragons, they also came out with a pretty close win, 91-90. Also showing good composure on their end, holding it down to win at the final buzzer.
And that's Freddie Lish, now in his second year with the Mono. Let's talk about first about Moses Morgan. Like, he seems more comfortable this season, TK.
Yeah, I think this year they kind of really solidified his role as someone who will provide firepower off the bench. I think last year he came in expecting a role as a starter, as that featured guy, and changing that midseason is not something easy to do. I think this year coming in, they made it clear that he was going to be a guy they really relied on midway through the game or something like that, and he's embraced that role.
And the man of the moment also for Mono is Tyler Lamb. He scored a bunch of points in the last game. Tyler Lamb is having another stellar year, TK.
Yeah, he started off a bit shaky in that first game with 11 points, but really came back against the Formosa Dreamers. 24 points, as you mentioned, and some clutch free throws down the wire to seal the deal for their second straight win.
Yeah, I think he scored all 4 straight points from the free throw line to seal that win. And look, as we take a look at a player matchup, Michael Singletary versus Amir Bell.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Both guys are really expected to do a bunch for their team. Michael Singletary, as you know, he's done so much for the Mono Vampire over the years. As you see in that stat line there, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. On the other side, Amir Bell coming into his first season and did pretty well in his debut. 9 assists, 21 points, just slicing his way into the basket and also setting up for his teammates.
So a couple of new faces and some familiar ones from both sides. And speak of new faces, we have a new coach for Mono. It's Coach Andre Urlep. And Chi, can you tell us a little bit more about Coach Andre?
Well, Coach Andre, the Slovenian coach, he's really defensive-minded, and the players really have to buy into that mentality to be able to be in that rotation. And as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, that's what's been helping them do well to start this season.
And of course, our starters for both squads. Here's Mono. You saw earlier from the Kuala Lumpur Dragons. I just want to go back to the Dragons just a little bit. So they're new imports. A lot of new faces for KL as we take a look at Coach Jamie Perlman. Tiki, can you talk more about the Dragons' new look?
Well, the Dragons, they shifted a bit heading into the season during the offseason before finally setting down with a trio of Artino, Cade Davis, and Amir Bell. But I think it's a pretty good look. They really meshed well together. They knew what each other's strengths were, and they really leaned on to that. And it resulted in a win. What more can you ask of that?
Our keys to the game for Kuala Lumpur Dragons, you saw right there. Just a quick one. DK, what are your thoughts on for both teams, their keys to the game?
Well, for the Dragons, as you see here, the keys for the Mono Vampire. The Dragons will have to stop the Mono Vampire from shooting the threes. They've done so well in their first 2 games, combined for about 29 to 30 threes in 2 games, I think. And that's something that they really have to do. Step out on the line, especially for guys like Amir Bell. They've really got to step out and not allow easy threes for the Mono Vampire, especially at home.
We are just about to start here in Stadium 29. Our referees gave the thumbs up. And here we go. Mono Vampire versus KL Dragons. And Kuala Lumpur wins the tip. A lot of interesting matchups right here. Our imports are going up again against imports. Martino, top of the key. Stolen. Mono on the run. Singletary, you know he can do well with the basketball. Goes up, but misses though.
And the Dragons got away there. They didn't stop Singletary in the break. He got an open lane to the basket. Fortunately, didn't go down.
Here's Artino. Stop his dribble by Watkins. No, TK, we're seeing now that Mono is the more experienced team in terms of personnel. I know Watkins is new, they have a new coach, but in terms of personnel, you can see how well they know each other on the court.
Yeah, they've been going through this offseason for a long period, barely getting any breaks, and it's paying off seeing in their chemistry.
As opposed to the KL Dragons, they have 3 new imports, and a lot of their locals are not here also.
Yeah, they're missing some key local players, Kwek Tien Yuan, Cheng Hua, and a surprising rookie in Nicholas Tem. So that's going to be something that they really got to adjust to and get off the right foot.
Just for everyone's information, they're off to the Southeast Asian Games, I believe.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to that.
So 14 on the shot clock. We are still scoreless here in the first minute of this ball game. Bell, strong drive to the hoop, does not drop. Singletary with the basketball once again. They go to Lamb, corner. In and out for Lamb.
Yeah, and that's something you really got to watch out for as well. Those transition threes, the Mono Vampire love those, especially when Singletary's driving to the basket.
You know, we've seen Singletary handle the ball really well at that point guard position, especially last year when the team lost Jason Brickman.
Yeah, he really does a really good job of just driving in and checking out those passing lanes. And the Mono Vampire have surrounded him with good shooters to maximize that potential.
And of course, Brickman is with San Miguel Alab Pilipinas as a local. We're still scoreless, coming up on a minute and a half remaining as Singletary is fouled on the backcourt.
And that's a problem that the Dragons will have to watch out for there. Tanwei Long, he's not one of the more experienced players on the squad. He didn't even play in that first game, but The Dragons have been forced to use him early, and he's got to watch out for those ticky-tacky fouls.
And again, the Dragons are limited in terms of personnel. They only have 9 players, I believe, in game clothes. Singletary, fade, bucket. There we go, 2-0 for Mono.
Yeah, but the Dragons are really packing it up in the paint, in the shaded area well there. Not giving the easiest of attempts for the Mono Vampire and Michael Singletary.
Check that, we have 11 players for the Dragons, despite missing 3 people, Kwek, Chin, and Tem.
Yeah, a rough start here on defense by the Mono Vampire. 3 fouls already, actually 2 on Ananti, forcing him to the bench.
Martino, top of the key. You know, he loves that spin move. Bell, corner. Still no baskets for KL.
We're seeing the Dragons move the ball and looking for those corner threes, and I think that's something that Jamie Perlman is really emphasizing on.
Now, Mono's turn. 5-0 for Mono.
Mono loves those corner threes as well, as we've seen in the previous game, and they nail it on their first attempt here.
And not a tip, Boonserm with the triple. Where will the Dragons offense come from? Bell having trouble. Watkins trying to steal the ball. Go to Davis. Davis has 3 to work with. Davis with the first points for KL Dragons.
Davis is a smooth shooter, not only from long range, but off the dribble, as you see there. He's got to stick the body and then force him to make his way into the basket to get his points.
Turnover there by Tyler Lamb, and the ball will go back to the Dragons. Martino from the top, waiting to see the play develop. Ball goes back to Bell. Bell surveying the floor. Bell, awkward shot, could not drop. Dragons still have the basketball and the bucket.
And that's the X factor for the Dragons here in this game. Simeon Lepichev, he's going to be a guy that really hustles to get those offensive boards, and the Mono Vampire have got to keep a body on him.
There's Simeon Lepichev, who was born in Malaysia. That's why he is serving as a local for the Dragons right now. As Lamb goes up for 3. Too strong. Rebound Dragons.
Yeah, the Dragons defense is actually a bit underrated. Coach Jamie Perlman has coached these guys well.
We go inside Lepichev. Using his size. Could not get the and one, but he will troop to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, and that's a mismatch that I would look to go to as well for the KL Dragons. Lepichev, he has the strength, a native of Bulgaria. He's played in the NCAA Division 1. So he has that experience. They can go to him going up against a guy like Narati Bunsam down in the post, who he has a strength advantage over.
Lepichev goes 2 for 2. Coming up on 6 minutes remaining in the first. Singletary uses the pick from Watkins. Wide open. No go for Mono. Rebound, Artino.
This tempo is something that the Dragons are really going to thrive in. To slow it down. Do not let the Vampires just get out in the open court.
We go to Lepichev in the post once again. Too strong on that hook shot. Now, as you mentioned, Lepichev is using his size underneath. Scramble. Bell gets it. Dragons on the run. Lamb tried to steal, but a foul will be called. Is it on Bell? Yes, I believe it is.
That's a big one because that gets Mono Vamp. Oh, that's a foul on. That's a foul on Bell.
Yeah, we thought it was Lamb. He tried to get the ball, but the refs said it was he pushed off Tyler Lamb. So that was Bell contesting his case. He said he was running. Lamb at the elbow. Singletary pops out. Singletary has 10 to work with. Goes baseline. Nifty pass underneath. Stolen. Artino.
Not exactly prepared for that pass, and a turnover for the Mono Vampire.
Davis runs into a brick wall.
But again, though, that's what the Mono Vampire want Cade Davis to do. Drive to the basket. Do not let him get into a shooting rhythm. He showed that he can really go out on a spree if he feels it against the Fubon Braves, and that's just a way of stopping him to get into his groove.
Now you can tell the Dragons are still feeling each other out. Of course, it's their second game of the season. A lot of new faces as we take a look at Preston Knowles checking in. And Moses Morgan.
Well, Coach Andre Erla forced to go down, deep down into his bench early in this game, already with 5 team fouls, just barely halfway through the first quarter.
Of course, it's early in the season. You can expect a lot of sloppy plays, turnovers here and there, as all teams are trying to feel each other out. So the score is 7-5. KL with a 2-point lead. Lamb goes baseline. Oh, they've been trying that baseline pass for 2 times in a row now. Morgan from deep, off to the right, and Bell secures it.
Yeah, you just got to keep on giving credit to this Dragons defense. The Mono Vampire have gone 30-plus points in the first quarter for the past 2 games. It's holding them to 5 here. Is a really good job on that end. Maybe not on this end, scoring the points and airballing a 3 for Artino, but if you can lock it down on defense like this against the Vampire, it's going to be good for the long run in this game.
And both teams need a break. We will take a timeout, 7-5. Back for more after this break. Back inside Stadium 29. Somewhat of a slow start for both teams. Tough shooting so far. 4.5 minutes to play in the first. Singletary up and in!
And that should really get things going for the Mono Vampire. Michael Singletary obviously loving the contact.
And you know that primal scream was also for everybody. Just get this game going. And one. That's right, Michael Singletary. A longtime veteran here in Mono. He's a favorite here.
Usually a marksman from the charity stripe though, but missing that one there.
So we are tied at 7. Oh, nice move inside. Artino with the layup.
Yeah, anticipating the block from Ryan Watkins, but doing just enough to get his way around.
Here's Knowles. Oh, Watkins from deep. Lamb was cut off, so Watkins couldn't make that pass on the baseline.
Yeah, 1 of 6 to start the game for the Mono Vampire. Not something that they are used to.
Oh, nice pass inside Davis, though. Traffic. Here's Waylong. Does not drop.
But again, the Dragons are really playing this possession game, milking the shot clock, and that's something that you've got to do when you have limited resources like Coach Jamie Perlman has in this game.
Knowles uses the pick from Watkins. Knowles, floater. That's good.
Preston Knowles does have that floater in his arsenal, ready to use it on call.
3 minutes remaining here in the first. Lepichev having trouble with the leather. Hounded by Morgan. Lepichev still has the basketball. Flips it up. No go.
Good defensive effort by Morgan.
Oh, Knowles tried to make a bounce pass to Singletary. Good idea, just did not execute.
Yeah, and that's what the Mono Vampire really need to do. They have to push the tempo up, force the Dragons to run a little bit, wear them out. As you know, that is not a deep bench they are playing against.
Tirawat Chanchaton will check in for Ryan Watkins. Mono is deep. And a foul on Tirawat. Offensive foul for that screen.
The Dragons continue to frustrate Vampire here with their defense.
So both teams still trying to get that rhythm offensively. Both teams though playing hard on defense. Here's Artino. Goes baseline. Wild shot, way long, runs into Artino. Bell, wide open. Bucket for Amir Bell.
The Dragons are just patiently dissecting the defense, looking for their open shots and taking them when they come.
Singletary kicks it out. Morgan takes a closer look. Too strong. And Dragons can pour on this 3-point lead. Artino. And a foul called. Yes, it's got to be on Morgan.
More fouls called on the Mono Vampire. They just keep piling it up. They really have to control that despite however deep of a bench they have. There's a limit to those fouls per player.
So Artino will go back to the line. Now, how has Will Artino fit into this KL Dragons? I know he's only played one game, but from that snippet of a game, what did you see there?
Well, from what we saw last season, Artino playing with the Formosa Dreamers, I think he's pretty versatile in where he can shoot the long ball. He's a pretty decent passer, and he posts up well, has his moves, as you mentioned, the spin move. So I think he's a guy who can really fit in easily to basically any system, especially a system that is well set, as Coach Jamie Perlman has put here in place for the KL Dragons. I think it's a good fit.
And Artino makes it 13-9. 2 minutes left in the first. Knowles, that's good.
A spark plug off the bench here, Preston Knowles.
A Spitfire guard from Louisville. Bell, bump, no call. Artino, oh, nice pass inside. Lebechev with a finish.
And that's just easy. As we mentioned there, Artino is a pretty good passer, has good vision, and the moment you double team him, he's already looking for that extra guy.
Slowly but surely, both teams getting a rhythm on offense. And then right on cue, Michael Singletary with the triple.
That's what we said. Keys to the game. Keep the Mono Vampire off that three-point line.
Here's Davis. Double team. Artino asking for it. There we go. Artino and the finish.
Just great recognition by Cade Davis. Sees the triple team. Artino right under the basket. That's an easy basketball play to make.
Mono tried to trap Cade Davis, and just made the right play for the deuce by Artino. Knowles, oh, tough shot. So 45 seconds remaining. A somewhat slow-paced first quarter, but both teams have slowly hit their shots here. Bell has 10 on the shot clock. Lebechev using his size. Wild shot, Artino, put back is good.
And these are the kind of baskets that Coach Andre Erlep isn't going to like. It is pure effort to box out Artino, and Chanta John was just not in there.
Game clock and shot clock almost identical. Knowles will milk this clock out. Lamb. And a foul is called as he was trying to split the D.
A rookie mistake there by Tanway Long, jumping the passing lane a bit too quickly, and with a guy like Lamb, the moment he sees you jumping that lane, he's ready to attack the basket.
So 3 on the shot clock. Sorry, 2.7 on the game clock rather. Lamb, fade. Lamb, oh, in and out.
Difficult shot there to end the quarter.
And that should do it, 19-15 in favor of the visiting team, KL Dragons. Second quarter coming right up. Mono Vampire Basketball Club taking on the Kuala Lumpur Dragons on this Thursday night. TK, quick reactions on the first 10 minutes of play.
This is a great game plan by Coach Jamie Perlman to limit the possessions by both teams, to slow it down. If you give the Mono Vampire a lot of shots like you see there, they're going to knock them down. So just keep it at a slow pace and just go basket for basket, play it out on defense.
And we talked about this earlier. Mono actually shot a combined 29 threes in the first two games.
Yeah, and that's something that's going to play a big role in this game here.
Davis, oh, nice pass from the baseline. That shot is good. Scores 21-18.
That's something that's going to be key for the Dragons as well. Support from the bench, from their role players, aside from their three imports.
Morgan back to back. Not that time. Bell on the counter. Artino, left hand layup, no go. Rebound to ball. Davis, he'll try the three. Oh, off to the side there.
Not on point today yet, Cade Davis.
Singletary sees an opening. Singletary, and one from Mike Singletary.
This has got to love the way that Mike Singletary just attacks the basket. He doesn't attack it with full speed, but he has control enough to just wait it out and see which direction to go.
That's an extremely well point, as we saw that he was patient enough to see the defense unfold before attacking. And after that bucket, actually a quick timeout. And we'll be back after a quick break, everybody. Second quarter action between the Dragons and Mono Vampire. How do you like the pace so far? Who is it favoring right now, TK?
Well, as we mentioned at the end of the first quarter, the Dragons were really doing a good job of slowing it down, and that's just playing into their half-court set. That's to their strength, but here in the first minute or so, the Mono Vampire really tried to pick up the pace, get into their shots a bit more quickly, and if they can really get out in the break, the Dragons have to watch out before the score hits out.
And Singletary with his 10th point already. 10 points for Mike Singletary. For the Dragons, they have Will Artino leading them by 7. Here he is with the basketball. Nice passing so far by the Dragons. Artino is clipped while taking a hook shot. He will troop to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, we saw Artino there starting out on offense at the top of the key, and he's doing some duties of orchestrating the offense around for the Dragons, but once he gets the ball in that post, it's a tough job to just hold him in place. He has such good footwork, such good spin moves, and there it results in a foul.
Talking about spin, footwork and spin move, if you guys saw the post in our ABL Instagram, you saw that Will Artino has a knack of spinning and turning and just laying it up and in.
That's one of his patented moves. Feel free to name it.
Knowles try to bounce it into Watkins. Ball is picked up by the Dragons.
That's great defense there by Amir Bell, pouncing for the steal.
We go to Letichev. Oh, Artino back out. Ball did not get the 3 to drop. Tyler Lamb. Yes, sirree. 3 points is good.
It's great movement there by Preston Knowles. He's really done well. Just seek out the offensive options for the Mono Vampires, and another 3 for the home team.
That puts Mono up by 1, 24 to 23. Davis up, and no. Nice move though.
They'll get bailed out with another possession here, but great move by Cade Davis just to get to the basket.
Splitting the defense mid-air, but Watkins couldn't secure the rebound, much to the dismay of his coach. Lepichev, he wants to go closer. Left-handed layup, strong move.
Was about to say that Moses Morgan did a good job of closing him out there where he's not comfortable, but just took Morgan straight to the rack for 2.
Whistle on the play by Singletary.
It seems to be Lepichev's first foul, so he's doing a good job of keeping that in check. Amir Bell has 2 for the Dragons. That is something worth looking at.
Lamb trying to find an opening. Oh, between the legs. Oh, that shot, should it went in, would have brought the house down.
Just a little bit away from making the highlight reel.
Watkins pokes it out of bounds.
Solid job by Watkins here to bother Will Artino as much as possible.
Here's Bell. Shot clock reads 10. Bell goes inside, off balance shot.
Yeah, well, Bell this game has not looked for his shot as much.
Singletary attacking the teeth of the defense. What a strong move by Michael Singletary.
Had Lepichev all over him with his outstretched arm. It doesn't matter anyways.
And Singletary's fired up. Lepichev trying to answer. Oh, off the glass, triple.
I didn't know that he had that in him. The bank is open.
And Tyler Lamb will go back to the line.
Number 34.
You know, TK, it'll be interesting to see the halftime adjustments by both teams after seeing the matchup. We saw there Bell taking on Lish, Lepichev trying to stay in front. Morgan trying to stay in front of Lepichev and all that.
Well, yeah, I think Mono Vampire will have a lot to do to adjust here, even though they've done well to just stay in line. But Coach Jamie Perlman has really done his homework heading into this game, really well prepared. And if Coach Andre Erlip can really figure out how to speed this game up in that halftime break, it's going to be a different game.
Davis to Lepichev. Oh, nice give and go, but denied by Alab. What a play! Singletary could not convert. Ball is loose. Somehow Singletary corrals the rebound, and he will go to the line.
What a highlight stopper that was on the other end by, I think it was Tyler Lamb. There we go.
A little bit of contact there up in the air.
Yeah, but give credit first for that pass by Lepichev. However, on the other end here, gets called for a foul. Michael Singletary going back to the line once again.
So Singletary has been the man for Mono. Last year he averaged 24.2 points, 10.5 rebounds, and an 80% free throw shooter.
Pretty much a lock for 20 points at least in every game for the Mono Vampire. You know that they will be going to him.
Tino to Bell. Bell from deep. That is short. John Wall wide open and catches air. And the crowd letting John hear it.
Crowd really loving how the defense of the Mono Vampire are affecting the game for the Dragons.
So Morgan will take a breather. Boone Serm, the starter for this game, is back in. Ananti. Where is he going? Ananti still has the basketball. Oh! Tried to make a nifty bounce pass there, but ball is picked up and Dragons on the counter. They go inside. Artino against Watkins. Triple team. And just an out of bounds there.
And Mono Vampire there, they saw Artino in the post, ready to spin move. And some good scouting there. As soon as he was starting to pick up the ball, all the players just closed in.
Oh, nice pass inside. Bell, though, could not make the defense pay.
Really impressed with the passing selection of Lepichev.
But right then and there, Singletary knocks down the three.
And now Mono Vampire's offense starting to pick up already. Taking out a 5-point lead.
Singletary has 17 first half points so far, and we still have 4 and 4-3 to play here in the second.
On the other end, though, the Dragons, I think their offense has been slowing down a bit. They've been forced to go to an unfamiliar option in Lepichev, and I think that's really throwing them off their game.
Oh, Artino with a crossover. Oh, nice defense, though, by Boom Serm. But Mono has the basketball. Ananti takes the three. Not that time. Bell trying to get past Lish. And Lish has complained that he got the push. Bell still has the basketball, denied by Watkins. Here comes Ananti. Ananti has Lish on the side. Singletary up and in.
And the Mono Vampires going back to the root of their strength, defense, leading to the transition buckets.
back inside Stadium 29, and if you've just joined us, Michael Singletary has been on fire. 19 points as Mono is enjoying a 35-28 lead, shooting 46% from the field.
Yeah, just a one-man wrecking show. Michael Singletary, as you mentioned, 19 points, but more impressively, 7 for 9 from the field. He has just barely missed.
For everyone's information, Singletary's career high is 42 points. So watch out for Singletary. We still have 3:47 to play in the second quarter.
Again, there the Dragons going into the post with Artino, drawing another foul. That could be Ryan Watkins' second personal.
Artino could not get the first to go, but you love the idea, you love the effort from Artino. You know, his team's offense struggling a little bit. They need those easy points.
And they need those points down low to be able to open up the spacing for Cade Davis, who is struggling with his stroke.
Singletary. The Peach have all over him. Singletary doesn't mind the defense. Strong move, but he's met at the rim. Great defense there by Simeon Lepichev.
Yeah, good idea by Singletary though for trying to use his speed to break away to the basket, but Lepichev just quick hands.
An offensive foul, and Bell goes down. He's shaken up a little bit.
Sorry, 2 fouls on moving screens by the Mono Vampire in this game.
Here's that replay. Boom, sir, called for the foul.
And just extending that hip a little bit too further than the referee's liking.
3 fouls on Bunser. Bell crossing over, but could not get the layup. Lish behind the back dribble. Lish, ball still loose. They go to the corner, and the rebound was not secured by John Wong.
What a setup that was by Lish though, just breaking free from the entire defense of the Dragons.
Portino on the shot clock for Mono. Singletary met by Davis. Singletary, another 3-point attempt from Singletary. That time is good for Chichai Ananti.
Never wavering, the confidence didn't go anywhere.
The 3-point shots have now been falling for the home team. Here they go, 35-29 lead. Martino bosses his way inside. 2 defenders on him, forces it up, no call. And shot clock reached 24, and the refs notice it.
Yeah, the shot clock having some problems there,
That's
not going
right.
down.
Should have read 14. And the refs caught that immediately.
Now we're seeing a great effort on offense by Michael Singletary, but looking on the other side, Ryan Watkins has been doing really well on defense just to throw every one of the Dragons off their game.
So 38-29.
And the shot 24 seconds, Mono ball.
And the refs call it a shot clock violation, Mono ball. And Jamie Perm is like, he cannot believe what happened. But I think that's the correct call, as Dragons could not get the shot up. I think it did not hit the rim. That's why the refs called it shot clock violation. Step back, Trey. Lish too strong. Artino with the rebound. 2:12 to play just before we go to the halftime break. Artino to Bell. He tries the 3, makes the 3.
Finally getting something. Amir Bell, he's been frustrated throughout the entire first half.
He was 1 for 9 before that shot. 6 points so far for Bell. Watkins to Singletary. 8 to work with for Mike Singletary. Down to 5 seconds on the shot clock. Now the three. Do they know it? No, they don't. Shot clock violation. Dragons ball.
That's poor shot clock recognition by Naratip Bunsem. He's been showing good effort on defense, enough to get that starting nod from Coach Under early, but that's something that he has to improve.
Timeout on the floor. 38-32. 1:37 remaining in the second. .37 left here in the opening half between the Mono Vampire Basketball Club and the Kuala Lumpur Dragons. Mono with a 38-32 lead.
It's just been tougher for the Dragons to find a way to get their offense going. Mono Vampire just locking it down.
So despite their 7 turnovers, as you see on the screen, their shots have been falling. Talking about Mono. Latino. Oh, errant pass. That was just a miscommunication between Will Artino and Kay Davis.
Yeah, but that's also credit to what the Vampire have been doing throughout the entire first half of this game, just locking them down, and the Dragons are just second-guessing their moves on that side of the floor.
Lish. We go to Singletary. Singletary double team. Wide open is Lish. Could not make the defense pay. A minute remaining in the second quarter. Oh, nice feed inside. Levijevo could not convert.
Just a little bit more for the Dragons. They're on defense now.
Singletary. A bit too strong on that triple. But Watkins with the offensive board. They go to Singletary once again. Singletary falls on the floor. Ball is picked up by the Dragons. Singletary still on the other end. Oh, nice feed inside. Davis to Lepichev.
The Dragons taking advantage of that. And Michael Singletary still talking to the refs.
Stoppage on the play. And that is where Mike Singletary fell. And that is why he was complaining to the referees. Wasn't there a push there? That's what he's saying right now, probably.
Yeah, Michael Singletary's been saying that all game. He's been absorbing a lot of contact. That's just the way, the style that he plays.
19 points across his name to go along with 7 rebounds, 3 assists.
He's doing a little bit of everything as usual.
And no turnovers, CK. 12.6 remaining in what has been a back and forth first half, even though Mono has a 38-34 lead. Ananti. Oh, nice steal. 5 seconds left. Watkins forced it up. And that is how the first half will end.
Just an awkward way to end the first half, but nonetheless, the home team will go into the halftime break up ahead by 4 points.
38-34 second half after this break. Welcome back to our coverage of the 10th season of the ASEAN Basketball League. Mono Vampire Basketball Club taking on the Kuala Lumpur Dragons. Second half action coming up just a little bit. Vampires up by 4, 38 to 34. TK, what were your observations in that first half? First, let's talk about Mono.
Yeah, of course, Mono. Obviously, this is not exactly the tempo that they're used to playing. They're doing well, staying up ahead, but only 38 points scored in the first half compared to previously in the first two games. They already surpassed the 30-point mark by the first quarter alone. So on that side, they're doing a good job of staying ahead, but still a bit out of their game. They picked up the pace in the second quarter, got a lot more shot attempts off, and really did well on defense to slow the Dragons down.
As in the Dragon side, what is the most important thing they need to do, especially in the opening minutes of the third?
They really need to get Cade Davis open, get some way to get him open opportunities and get his shots off, because that's what they've really been missing here in the first half of the game. Cade Davis only 3 points, 1 of 4 from 2-point range, and only 1 attempt from downtown. So that's something that they really need to unlock to get this game.
And third quarter is on. They go right to Artino to Bell. 3-pointer gets the roll.
And that's an option that they might want to look forward to using as well. Bell, his second 3-pointer of the game.
Here's Noel starting in the third period. Mike Singletary scored 19 in the first half. He is already on the number 9 of the ABL scoring list. Watkins, overcooks that one.
Yeah, good pass though by Singletary to get it in there.
And Lepichev draws the foul. He loves that. He loves that left block and really trying to overpower opponents.
Yeah, and the Dragons are going into him over and over again in that position, and it's worked well for them so far with 13 points in that first half. They might as well just keep going at it.
14 on the shot clock. Davis. Oh, denied by Mike Singletary.
Good job to get open, but Singletary
Loses the leather though. Can he get it back? Yes, he does. Oh, nice feed inside.
A weird sequence there from both teams, but eventually ending up in points for the Mono Vampire.
Singletary with the alley-oop to a cutting Chit-Chai Ananti. 3-point lead for Mono. Davis sees an opening, left-handed layup. What a finish by K. Davis.
Yeah, and as we were mentioning, heading into the second quarter, the Dragons need to be aggressively more in getting Davis into this offensive rhythm. 2 possessions where they have gone to him driving towards the basket.
Morgan, rhythm 3, no go. 8.5 to play. Bell will facilitate the offense for the visiting team. We go to Artino. Double team. The defense of Mono is focused on Artino. And out of bounds is Simeon Lepichev.
Yeah, refs a bit slow there to notice Lepichev standing directly on the line.
You know, it was as if everyone was waiting for the ref to make that call, and he did.
Yeah, but the Mono Vampire, they're starting to recognize the offense of the Dragons, that it's just starting with only Bell, Artino, and Davis on one side of the court, and they're just really packing it on that end, making their lives easier.
And on the other end, Preston Knowles with the jumper.
Knowles is just a guy that is ready to jump into the game and just start putting in baskets.
Davis lost his way inside. Morgan trying to draw the offensive foul. Singletary picks up the leather. Anandi with the finish. Another beautiful feed from Singletary.
Yeah, that tandem is starting to work out for the Vampire. Heading up 2 guys. Easy finish.
You see the trust of Mike Singletary. He is a scorer, but he can also facilitate. 6 on the shot clock. Ball picked up by Anandi. Can he go all the way? Takes the 3. Too strong that time.
Yeah, good defense, turning the ball over by the Vampire.
To the trailer they go. Artino too strong.
A little bit too fancy by Artino.
Bounce pass to Ananti. Singletary. Sorry, that was Morgan. Caught dancing to the wrong song.
Yeah, shifting his feet a little bit too much. Maybe got a little bit too wide open.
6:40 to play. The pace has picked up compared to the first quarter, TK.
Yes, sir, and that's what the Mono Vampire like indeed.
Offensive foul called against Will Artino.
Good anticipation by Ryan Watkins. There were a lot of plays earlier in that first half where Artino got the ball and was looking for the contact with Watkins down in the post. And this time, Watkins was ready.
So it's Knowles against Bell at that guard position. Knowles sees daylight. Could not get the booker to drop down for the rebound. Who will it go to? Artino.
Finally, someone ending up with that ball, but gotta love the effort by both teams.
Bell drives inside, stops, spins. Bell, what a move.
Great up and under move by Bell. This matchup between Preston Knowles and Amir Bell looking really entertaining.
You know, Bell had a slow start. He hit a couple of shots. That's where his eyes kind of wide open, and his offense has picked up. Davis uses the pick. Davis loses the leather. Goes. He has Ananti. Ananti, too strong. Didn't really have control of that basketball. We go to Artino against Singletary. Double team, triple team. Knowles comes out of the pack. Knowles wide open layup.
Plenty of turnovers by the Dragons here, and Mono Vampire are gonna take advantage of those over and over again.
46 to 41, 5 and 19 to play in the third. We will be back.
Good job. Good job.
Five-point lead for the home team. Mono Vampire 46 to KL Dragons 41.
And they're gonna change up on offense a bit. They're bringing in Tyler Lamb.
Another turnover by the Dragons. Here comes Lamb. Lamb all the way. Too strong on the layup.
Just forcing turnover after turnover are the Mono Vampire defense.
Oh, nice defense right there. Moses Morgan timed it. And as Jamie Perlman and Davis are asking for a foul, no whistle blown.
Yeah, quick hands by Mono Vampire. Consecutive possessions already of that happening. Great pass by Lepichev.
Lepichev and Bell caught the defense snapping that time. Great feed inside.
It's a lot of times already where Lepichev has had that quick fire pass into the paint. He's taking advantage of the Mono Vampire not being aware of the movement down low.
A couple of turnovers for the Dragons. How has the Mono Vampire been able to predict those passes? They seem to be one step ahead defensively.
Well, yeah, a lot of times it's not even the pass, it's just the Dragons dribbling into guys double teaming them in the lane, quick hands on the double, and K. Davis alone already two possessions where we've seen that, and that's just something that they've got to work on, just better way of moving the ball to where they want.
Watkins, jumper. Sweet shot from Ryan Watkins.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of him on offense doing the dirty work on the defensive end. Good time to get going.
Three-pointer is short. Bell chases the loose ball and dishes it to Artino, who throws it down.
And maybe a little bit releasing the frustration by Will Artino.
That was the easiest 2 points Will Artino has gotten here. All crossover, Knowles. Did not get the jumper to fall. Watkins skies high for the rebound. Ball is picked up by Bell. Under 4 minutes to play here in the third. 3-point game. Artino feed inside to Bell. Bell goes up, and the ball will stay with the Dragons.
Great pass up ahead by Artino, just seeing Bell move and trusting his teammate to get where he was sending that to.
Freddie Lish re-enters the ball game as Preston Knoll checks out. 7 on the shot clock for Kuala Lumpur. Artino, top of the key three. Not that time.
Still only a 3-point game despite the tempo going in the way of the Mono Vampire.
Morgan, corner three, in and out. Artino trying to get control of that leather. Shot clock under 14. Bell. Artino once again. Artino caught in traffic. Here's John Wong. 5 on the shot clock. Artino spins, forces it up. He had to take that shot as the shot clock was winding down. Singletary thought about the three. Here comes Morgan. Right-handed, gimme, no go. Watkins, another rebound. And he couldn't finish.
Just suffocating possessions on both ends by the Dragons and the Mono Vampire. Dragons is unable to get an open shot, and Mono Vampires is not getting their transition offense going.
And the shots have not been falling for either team here in the third.
But again, this is the tempo that the Dragons will live with, just holding Mono Vampire to under 50 with only a bit left in the third quarter.
And right on cue, Tyler Lamb with the three-pointer.
It's breaking that half-century mark.
Hard foul there, Watkins against Artino.
It should be the third personal on Ryan Watkins. And there we see Coach Andre playing it safe, bringing in Nopon Sangtong into the game.
In the first two games, 111 points on average for Mono. So right now, they're the halfway mark at 51. I don't think they're gonna get to 100. As a jumper from Lepichev makes it a 4-point game. Lamb stumbling into the lane.
Wild possession there.
And
seems like a bit of trip on the way up.
not intention. Bell was just there and Lamb was trying to get back on defense. Here's a replay. Lamb stumbling in. And then Bell actually slipped. And then that made Tyler Lamb trip.
Yeah, just gotta watch out for that. Again, the Dragons are doing really well on that defensive side. I think this is their objective, keep it at a low-scoring game, but they got to figure out their offense.
Artino meets 3 defenders, and then Singletary, Lish are all jumping up and down the court.
And that's definitely going to prompt a warning from the refs. The crowd, though, not liking the call either.
And you hear the boos from the crowd. Nonetheless, Artino will go to the line. Artino 4 of 12 from the field.
They're already with a double-double, 13 points, 11 boards.
A minute and a half remaining. Third quarter action. Lish, jumper. And he gets the bounce. And stays with the follow through, Freddie Lish.
It's a bit of a shooter's touch there.
Oh, Bell running into some trouble there.
A lot of contact going on. Bell wants this matchup.
Bell still has the basketball. Bell for 3. No. Oh, Artino. And Singletary misses. Artino earlier was there battling for position. He is getting frustrated with the defense.
Yeah, but that's a lot of contact on both ends by both teams. This is turning out to be a physical bout.
You know, as Mono was attacking on offense, Sang Tong and Will Artino got into a little bit of scuffle there.
Sangtong has got to watch out for that. If you recall, in that first game against Alab Pilipinas, he was down on the court for about 7 minutes and picked up 5 fouls with a bit of a back and forth with Lawrence Domingo. Of course, we know that that's a part of his role on this team.
So he will try to be the disruptor for Will Artino. Lish, jumper, could not get the bounce that time. And the ball will go to the Kuala Lumpur Dragons.
Freddie Lish trying that mid-range for a second time. Again, the frustration on offense just keeps on going.
Low scoring ball game so far, 53-48. 20 seconds remaining in the third. Pichev drives, stops and pops. Nowhere near was that shot. 9.3 to play.
Man, Amir Bell is one active guard. You can see him diving in for those offensive rebounds often, and that's why the Kuala Lumpur Dragons have 10 offensive rebounds early.
Long 3, Singletary. Could not get the bounce. 2 seconds. Davis, Hail Mary, and that goes in.
And Davis, after struggling the whole game, maybe that'll get him going.
From half court. The refs will check, but that looked good from our angle. And yes, they counted 53-51 at the end of 3. Check out that replay from the logo.
Well, he was wide open.
Back for the fourth quarter in just a bit.
And 3 point, Kuala Lumpur Dragons.
One more quarter between these two teams, Mono Vampire and Kuala Lumpur Dragons. My name is Yo Sarmenta, and with me, Sajatam TK Kosambun. TK, one more quarter for these two teams.
And that was a great way to end the quarter for the Kuala Lumpur Dragons. Maybe just getting their offense going a bit with that half-court buzzer beater by Cade Davis. But here's something underrated from that third quarter. Michael Singletary went 0 for 5 from the field despite scoring 19 in the first half.
Here he is with the basketball. Loses it. And the ball should go to the Dragons. Yes, it will.
So yeah, continuing to be a great defensive output by the Dragons. Just need to get a little bit more done on offense.
Tyler saw that pass from a mile away.
Mono Vampire are going to be asking for that to be a foul. It's not going to be called.
It wasn't too long ago, Tyler Lamb. He led the league in steals. So the Dragons will reset. 10 on the shot clock. John Wong, they go inside. Lepichev. Ball will stay with the Dragons.
Yeah, that was close by Moses Morgan. Kind of chopping down at the ball. Good thing that he seemed to have gotten no ball.
Artino, 5 on the shot clock. Artino flips it up. Go.
And with Ryan Watkins on the bench, the Dragons are going to continue to go to that.
Singletary. To go to Lamb. Lamb from deep. Too strong. And Bell corrals it. Artino. Lamb is going for the steal, but he is caught with a foul.
Just frustrating calls on this side for the Mono Vampire.
So Singletary still has 19. And he's the one who needs to step up if Mono wants to close this out with a win. Mono Vampire 2-0 this early in the season. They've never won their opening assignments. And now they're here gunning for their 3rd straight win in ABL Season 10. Lepichev. Lamb with the steal.
They just read that out of the zone.
Singletary. Yes, sir. 3-pointer. I was just about to ask, will this 3 get Singletary going? And he just answered with that booming triple.
And that's a good timing.
Hard drop there by Bell.
That's the kind of foul you get with Nopon Sangtong. He sends a message.
I think they're calling it inbound. Not the refs are ruling it not a shooting foul. So that's why the Dragons are upset that they have a chance here. Artino, that's his shot. Spinning and twirling his way.
Yeah, the Dragons have really got to continue taking advantage of that mismatch down in the paint with Artino. Nopon Sangtong can quickly with 3 fouls. Again, Ryan Watkins sitting on the bench with 3. Coach Andre Erlip knows that it will be risky to put him in if he picks up his 4th. So he's going to live with a few more minutes with his main big man on the sideline.
Artino goes 1 for 2. Misses that second free throw.
Artino 5 of 10 from the charity stripe.
They go to Lamb in the elbow. Lamb rises. Ball picked up as Bell dove for the ball.
So that was a nice last second pass by Tyler Lamb, but just a little bit unexpected from his teammate.
Davis. Drops and pops. Nice shot there by Davis.
Yeah, and that's the shooting stroke that the Dragons need. Another option for the Mono Vampire defense to be wary of.
2-point game, 56-54. 7:40 remaining in this ball game. Lamb back to Morgan. Morgan takes it inside. Nifty pass to Santong. Fakes out two defenders. Draws a foul.
Nearly a good defensive stance by the Dragons. Just not leaping in too quickly, but eventually gets called for the foul on Santong.
So last 7.5 to play. Something has got to give between these two squads.
Just what a great defensive effort by both sides.
We talked about pace basically throughout the ball game. Now at the start of the fourth quarter, which team has the upper hand in terms of pace?
Well, I think the Dragons still are really relying on slowing it down, and Mono Vampire have got to be frustrated to be playing outside of their familiarity. They're still up ahead, but this is not the way they usually play.
That's a very correct point, TK. Still 57 points for Mono. They do not like that. They have been a high-scoring team, not just the first two games, but historically. They love to put points on the scoreboard.
But that there is something that the Dragons will really need to fix. Cade Davis just unable to get anything going, even dribbling the ball towards the basket.
Bell, fade, jumper, good.
That's a clean move by Amir Bell.
1 point game. Here's Lesh. Lesh surveying the floor. Singletary thought about the three, rises. That is short. Awful pass there by Bell. A little bit to the left of John Wong.
Yeah, but I think the preset was for Wong to be stuck in that corner, and Wong just wasn't expecting for that and moving a bit up. Probably going to go back, and John, he has to stay in the game, ready for any pass from his teammates.
Rebound Artino.
Quick trigger by Mono Vampire.
.12 on the shot clock. You see here, the offense, the Dragons have been playing tremendous defense, but their offense not so much.
Oh yeah, but you also have to give credit to the Mono Vampire defense, as they've been doing these past 3 games. They've been doing a really good job of closing in the passing lane, just getting deflections. Here, Ryan Watkins comes back in the court.
Mono gambled on that time, and Will Artino capitalized, and now they take a 58-57 lead.
It's been a while since they've been in the lead.
Bounce pass. Lamb finishes the play.
Not for long, Mono Vampire retake that. What a cut by Tyler Lamb to the basket.
Under 6 minutes to play. 1 point game, folks. Beachev. John Wong open. Triple is good.
And Wong makes up for his mistake earlier, knocks down the triple.
Lamb, floater. Too strong. Artino, another rebound.
Everything but the basket by Tyler Lamb, and the Dragons, the golden opportunity to go up by even more.
Oh, throwdown from Will Artino.
Big bucket by the big man.
And that forces Mono to take a timeout. Dragons have taken a 63-59 lead, 5:21 to play. Will Artino, he has been the man for the Dragons, 18, 15, and 4.
Big dunk heading into that timeout earlier. What a statement, and he's been torturing the Mono Vampire defense all day. Been fouled on but 10 times already by the orange defense.
With another double-double performance, I think it's safe to say Will Artino has been solid for the Dragons in his first 2 outings.
Early MVP candidate without a doubt.
Lamb, bounce pass to Watkins. Watkins against Artino, one-on-one. Watkins, hook shot, no.
It might not be something you want to see from Mono Vampire, an offensive option that they hadn't been going through all game.
Davis ices the defense, up and in.
K. Davis struggling but not wavering with confidence to take the shot.
Nanti, no hesitation with the 3.
Big time bucket by Chichaya Nanti. Dragons were ready to break away with the lead.
That was an important bucket for Mono. Bell, John Wong. Artino takes the 3. Too strong. Watkins with the rebound. 4:20 to play. Singletary drives baseline. Knowles outside. It is clipped by Bell.
Measure Uncle number 34. Second personal foul at Saigon. 14 seconds.
So the Dragons, despite their shallow roster, they've been doing a good job of being conservative with fouls.
Mike Singletary, welcome back, sir.
Big time back-to-back threes by the Mono Vampire. We're back to square.
After a quiet third quarter, Singletary is back, folks. Here we go. Action has picked up. Steal, Lamb, breakaway, layup. Yes, sir.
By number 1, Thailand and Kuala Lumpur.
Last 4 minutes of this highly contested ball game. Mono gunning for win number 3. Dragons going for win number 2. TK, last 4 minutes as we take a look at the Dragons' next 5 games. Talk about their matchups moving forward.
Yeah, let's just stick to this game first. The Dragons were up by 6 points earlier, and Mono Vampire following their slogan, never dying, never giving up, coming back into the lead.
Another steal. Goals. Oh, nifty passing. And one for Chichay Ananti. Great passing. Great finish. Mono is on a roll. And Ananti completes the annual game. Now the tide has shifted. The home team has taken a 5-point lead, 70-65, 3.5 to play.
11-0 run by the Mono Vampire. What a swing this is. It's just a short amount of time.
Bell to Davis. That was a wide open opportunity, but fortunately for KL, the ball will stay on its side. And Watkins has a point there. Bell, 3, on its way, no, short. Ananti with the rebound, bothered by Artino.
Now it's the Dragons' turn to start firing blanks.
Ananti, they go to Lamb on the corner. Yes, sir! And Coach Andre is loving it. The shots have been falling for Mono.
This is why Mono are so dangerous. Once they get it going, it's just so hard to stop.
Nice play developing, yes! Davis with the 3. You saw that play developing. And nice execution by the Dragons.
Big time basket, keeping it within 5. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left.
Knowles trying to find an opening. Shot clock reads 7. Watkins having trouble also. Knowles jumper. And Watkins not save it. Tremendous defense by the Dragons.
Good defensive stop. That's what they needed, and that's what they get. But coming back down on this side of the floor, they need something clean.
It is winning time. Last 2 minutes here. 73-68 for the home team. Ball is poked loose. Knowles pushing. Lamb cannot gain control. Somehow, some way, Singletary ends up with the basketball. Ananti is swinging it over to the corner. Singletary jumper. No.
The Dragons get away with not losing points off another turnover.
Artino, he'll try to score. And 1 for Mr. Will Artino, and what a time for him to come alive.
Keeps on coming up with these big baskets, and that is a huge call as it is the 4th on Ryan Watkins.
A much needed basket for Kuala Lumpur as they were down by 5 before this play by Will Artino.
This game has suddenly picked up the pace in these last few minutes despite being a defensive clampdown by both teams.
Cannot complete the 3-point play. So it's a 3-point game. 70-70, a minute and 20 remaining. Lamb, Jagger, too strong. Lamb was going for the home run there.
Gutsy shot by Tyler Lamb.
Lots of time on the shot clock. He was trying to get the Dragons off guard. Knowles will inbound with 14 on the shot clock. Lamb against Bell. Hounded by Bell, and that is a foul on Bell.
Well, a very good defensive guard out of Princeton. Will sound fundamentals. Again, this is a really great matchup between Knowles and Bell.
40 seconds.
Sorry foul there as the shot clock was winding down and Knowles had nowhere to go. And now the shot clock will reset to 14. Lamb. They go to Ananti, corner, triple. Switches it through.
Big shot, shit shy with another corner triple.
Chicha Ananti making things happen here in the 4th quarter. Bell rises and with the triple.
Pat silences the crowd down a bit. We are not done yet here at GSP Stadium 29.
Mono will look for the killing blow here. Lamb still with the basketball. Knowles. Owen open is Singletary. Makes the three. The dagger from Mike Singletary.
He shot make for three again. Number 7, Miguel Singletary.
Timeout Dragons, 79 to 73. 21.3 remaining. What a gutsy shot by Michael Singletary. Gives his team a 6-point lead, 25 seconds remaining.
It's just both teams trading big shot after big shot. The fans are loving it.
Check that, 21.3 seconds. Where will the Dragons get that much needed basket?
Watch out for these sets though. Jamie Perlman has a lot of them in his bag.
Nice play there. Davis too strong on the triple rebound. Watkins. Nice shot attempt there. But Davis just couldn't get it to drop.
So burning about 5 seconds off the clock. The Dragons will still get the ball though. And another chance at a set play from the baseline.
Martino takes the three. Misses rebound, Lamb. And that should do it, folks. The Dragons will not foul. And Mono Vampire Basketball Club, their best start in ABL history, 3-0, giving the Dragons its first loss of the season, 79 to 73.
What a great way to close the game by both teams, just showing up in the clutch, knocking down bucket after bucket, and of course the defensive plays.
Those last two triples, Ananti and Singletary, were the killing blow that gave this home team a win. TK, their top performance of this game.
Well, Singletary, as you see there on the board, 3 times points, rebounds, and assists, leading his team just 2 dimes shy of a triple-double. On the other end, the Dragons, Will Artino led the way with 20 boards and 16 rebounds, while Amir Bell dished 5 assists.
TK, this game started slow, picked up its pace midway in the fourth. It was a back-and-forth affair. Your final thoughts on this game?
The Dragons just turned over the ball way too much there in the final moments, and that gave way to the Mono Vampire offensive machine to just get out going.
That will do it. Mono Vampire picks up win number 3. They are 3-0, ladies and gentlemen. The Dragons, meanwhile, suffered their first loss. They are 1-1 for the season. For my partner, Sajatam TK Kosabu, this has been Yosa Armenta on the mic. And this is ABL Season 10, Rise to Greatness.
seconds outside. Edwards! It's a goal! Lee Shui-Lin sees an opening. Oh! Lee Shui-Lin! Money on the three! So turns, fires. Delvin go right there. Another block by Delvin.
Wide open is Regulish. Back-to-back triples for Mono Vampire.
Only 7 remaining. He makes his move. Young forces it up and in!
CC hasn't made a shot before that.
Pretty good so far here in the first half.
Lai, oh everyone for the